we'll start anyway. So today, basically, what we are planning to do is running through how content creation or as content marketing has evolved with the inclusion of AI and how it has positively, negatively impact us. And the plan is to take you kind of through a journey on how content creation was before AI and how it is right now, and how it is not a threat, but a tool that you can use to supercharge your work. And also, we'll give you some practical experience, practical kind of examples on how to use in your day-to-day marketing activities and different examples as well. So before we start, we'll kind of do a quick introduction about us. So I'm Newan. I'm currently the founder and CEO of Code 94 Labs. So we are an agency, a digital agency based in Sri Lanka as well as USA. So we have a team of around 25 people as of now. We are in different verticals from tech to marketing. We are covering all the aspects of the digital landscape. And we have clients in Sri Lanka, varying from startups to up until public listed companies like AMAS, Cargills as well. So that brings us a lot of perspective into how these small people, execute marketing, digital technology, and up until how like bigger companies approach that as well. So Roshintha.
Yeah. So my name is Roshintha, and I'm the CEO and founder of Rope Digital, also a tech and digital agency just like Code 94 Labs. Been operating for the past 2 years. We have a team of 4 at the moment. We mainly deal with foreign clients, and we have verticals in mainly performance marketing, SEO. Performance marketing includes, of course, SEM and paid media as well. And yeah, we are planning to kind of expand in the next few years and take it on from there. So that's about myself.
Yeah, you can see a clear difference. She holds every CIM and master in marketing, and I have nothing. I'm just a self-learner, and both we have done very well in the marketing agency business for it's started.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. All right. So today's agenda is we have mainly 4 points that we are going to cover for you. The first is how content marketing was before AI. Secondly, how AI can't replace you, but instead make you superhuman. So how you shouldn't be scared of AI, but instead use it to your advantage. And thirdly, tricks and tips to using ChatGPT in content creation. As you know, ChatGPT is the main AI tool that everybody uses nowadays. So we're going to teach you a few tips and tricks that the 2 of us use on a daily basis, maybe, to help speed up our day-to-day work. And finally, awesome AI tools that you haven't heard of. So Newan will take you through that. Essentially, a couple of tools other than ChatGPT and the main AI tools that like Midjourney and the main AI tools that you all know of. A couple of cool tools that we are also trying to incorporate into our daily work and take tasks forward. So going to the first point, how content marketing was before AI. So as you all know, being a content marketer or being in a digital agency, creating content is a bit of a rigorous process. It takes a bit of time because you need to look at the data and the client that you're going to talk about, and you're going to learn about the industry that the client is in. So different topics and different types of data that you need to learn as a human being. That can take a lot of time. So I'm going to talk about 6 points, and starting off with the first. Everything we did depended solely on our creativity. So we as humans are different. We're all different. The way we think is different. Everybody, if something is creative to one person, it may not be creative to another person. So when creating content, it always depended on our opinions and our biases. So just because you and I learn about a certain industry, say construction, and if we were given a task to write a social media plan, like come up with 4 social media posts for the month, you will come up with 40 different posts, I will come up with 4 different posts. But the advantage that we as humans have is the fact that we can, so moving on to the next point, with that point itself, we can actually understand data. Even though it may be slower than how an AI tool might understand data, we can understand data in a more creative and opinionated way, which is a bit of, we can understand tone and feel, we can understand emotions. So again, we have different perspectives of gathering data. So once we do that, you and I, like I said before, you will create a completely different social media plan to what I would create. And that solely depends on how we perceive the data that we gather, even though it may be slower, like I said, how we perceive the data that we gather. So moving on to the next point, content production was time consuming, right? So say, I'm just going to give you like a situation. I have a company that I work with, a client. It's just an example situation, right? In New York, it's a construction company, and they tell me that they want me to create 4 blog posts for the month, right? So now construction in New York is something that I've never worked with before, never worked in before. I've never known industry. I live in Sri Lanka, there in New York. What are their regulations? What are their legal aspects of construction? Who can do this construction? Who can afford this construction? So there's a lot of time that has to be put in before you actually start doing the work. In the research process of things, there's a lot of time that needs to be put into understanding the topic of construction, understand the topic of construction in New York, which is the target market that we're looking at, and understanding the audience that they're going to target to, right? So with AI, what you can do now is you can enter a prompt into ChatGPT or another tool that you can use, and you can make a learning process a bit faster. That point will come up later on in my next slide. But yeah, essentially, it was really time consuming for us to gather all that data. But with AI, once we make certain prompt and if you tell them to teach us that in a certain way, they will do it. And your learning process becomes that much faster compared to how it used to be, where we would have to go through blogs and articles and speak to different kinds of people and speak to the client over and over again just to understand that particular topic. Moving on to the next slide. Labor-intensive tasks demanded significant human effort and time. So again, it's very related to the previous topic that I was speaking about. AI can give you ways that you can speed up anything you want to do. If you want to ask AI how you can make this is just not related to content, but in general, if you want to go on a trip to Bali and you want to know the fastest route around the island and the surrounding islands and the best places to visit, you can always ask AI, like ChatGPT. That's something that we did recently because we're actually going on that trip. So it's a labor-intensive task. It's just an example it's not related to content, but it's related to tasks that we complete on a daily basis. So it would take a lot of time otherwise to go through everything, go through the maps. Like just imagine even before digital came, like back in the day, we're just comparing now to before AI. But if you compare now to before digital, it's a significant difference. Obviously, you all may know that. But yeah, labor-intensive tasks demand a significant amount of effort and time, and now we can reduce that time by a significant amount as well. Information gathering process was limited. So we as humans, one is that we can gather data, but it can be slower compared to AI tools. Secondly, it's limited. So sometimes if you want to learn about a certain topic, you may not understand certain things, and you may have to look into those specific subtopics as well in order to understand the whole topic. But with AI, again, you can always just ask the tool. You can always have a chat with the tool. That is why it's called ChatGPT after all. You have to have a conversation with your AI. You have to feed it data. You have to make it understand. You think of it as your friend, like you're talking to your friend and you're explaining, bro, like this is the kind of company that I'm working with. These are the types of services that they do. Can you tell me what you can, what we can do for their social media? You have to have a conversation with it. So information gathering, the process becomes much faster, and also it doesn't limit you. You can always ask questions back and back and back, and it's all in one place. You don't have to go everywhere to search this information. All right. So yeah, human decision making depended on personal experience and intuition, potentially leading to subjective judgments and slow adaptation. Yeah. So opinions. Everybody has opinions. Everybody has biases. Going back to the one of the points that I made in the first slide, something I create for the client, if that client finds it offensive, just because it's their opinion, then that's a problem. So we can always rely on AI tools to create unbiased content, unbiased, like unopinionated content. For example, we are not so aware of the issues of racism going on in the Western countries like the US. And we may come up with a piece of content that can be a little bit maybe racially biased sometimes, unknowingly, unintentionally. It doesn't have to include any specific keyword or term. But if we come up with some piece of content that could be racially biased, and then the client on the other end says this and that, then it's a bit, it doesn't look good on us. So we can always come up with our own ideas, put it through AI tools in order to develop them. You don't have to rely solely on AI to kind of do all your work for you. You have to rely on AI, you have to work with AI, like it's like a friend. So yeah, that's pretty much about the 6 points that I've come up with here. And I think let's move on to the next slide, which is a small video that I actually want to show you all. Right. Yes. Yes. Just give me one second, please. What is it? Yeah, it's done. Okay. Right. All right. So this is an example of AI robot. And as I said before, AI will only give you facts without any opinion or bias. So it's easier for us to actually learn as well, because as humans, we tend to always think our opinions are correct and always have bias about certain things. So one thing good that came out of AI is actually that the fact that equality is becoming more and more easily accessible to everyone, working in the content space, especially. So, all right, I'm just going to show you the video.
Do you believe in God?
I don't believe.
Sorry, the song is not coming. Sound is not coming.
From this?
I think it's showing them. No, I played it, but it's not.
In anything.
Yeah. I think it's showing to the other end, but not sure.
No, it should. They can hear it.
Can you hear it? So that's the difference.
Can you play it?
Do you believe in God?
I don't believe in anything.
What's your name?
Show it to the
My
other
name
end.
is Annika. What is your name?
Michael. How old?
Michael.
Can you look at me?
Of course. Hello.
What color is my jacket?
Your jacket looks black.
Oh wow. What color is my hair?
I cannot tell you exactly, but I would guess brown.
Good guess.
Thank you.
Am I wearing a watch?
Yes. My cameras detect a watch.
Wow. What color is your hair?
Well, I could not tell you the answer to that. Are you impressed by me?
I am.
All right. So, yeah. That was the first video. And moving on to the second video. Yeah. So essentially here, this guy we call So this guy here, he will basically explain to you how people can eliminate the fear of adapting to AI, because at the moment, like Newan will explain later more on that topic, but At the moment, people are a bit fearful about using AI tools in their day-to-day life, and especially thinking that it's a cheat code or something like that. It is a cheat code, but in an advantageful way. So I suggest that everybody uses it. So all right, let's take a look at. Yeah. Yeah.
Will AI replace programmers? Short answer, no. Long answer, maybe. Here's what I mean by that. It's when calculators came out, it wasn't like mathematicians just died or were outdated. They're still part of our profession. They're still part of who helped us grow up and learn things. When tractors came out, farmers didn't go extinct. You had less farmers, but you still had farmers. They just started using these tools to help them out. With the development of artificial intelligence, humans and software developers will not be replaced. They will be assisted. You could become a superhuman. You could, as a developer, produce 5 developers or 10 developers' work instead of just 1 developer's work. And so really the difference is you're just a supercharged human being. You can either get left behind in the dust or you could adapt and dominate.
So moving on to the next topic, obviously, Newan will take it over from here. Like he said, supercharge humans. That is Newan's topic, and he'll be taking it from here.
All right, thanks. So I think the previous video took a start to what I was going to talk about, like why AI is not something to be feared. It is not something which is going to replace you, but it is something that is going to be is going to supercharge you or make you a superhuman. Out. So I'll kind of start with why AI won't be able to replace you. Right? So the first point I have written down is you can't bring human context and context to content, the tone and feel. So humans are humans are updated every day in different global contexts. They get different ideas, different perspectives. Like for an example, if you read different types of social media content, blog posts, or different any type of content, you might see that okay, they have referenced the upcoming or a movie that was launched like just a day ago, or else it can refer into something like a meme or something funny that is going on. So that tone and feel, that context, that perspective, that emotion, feeling, that is something that AI won't be able to replace in any of the content that we create. As Roshintha mentioned, it's unbiased. It is with a very direct tone. So and it's based on facts. So it's not coming with a perspective, emotion, and as like the fun and the context to it, the tone basically. So as a result, it would be something very straightforward to the fact, the content that we create, but not something that resonates with us as people. And then we cannot actually create a lot of localized kind of content with AI. It's a very direct facts kind of an approach. And the next thing is AI is only good as your prompt. So I'm talking about the language models like ChatGPT. The output that these models or as these tools will give is solely depends on how good the question that you ask. So if you can't ask the right questions from them, the right output won't be given. So it's about, so it again depends on you. So it won't replace you. It's about how you can utilize these tools in order to ask the right question, ask in the right way, in order to get the right output. So it is not something that they can do by themselves. It's about how we can be creative in order to get the right, I would say, output from these tools. And the other point is, so you can't expect the output to be always correct. So we wouldn't ever suggest to rely on like a tool like ChatGPT or any tool to be the only factual kind of tool to rely on, because it's basically a tool to help you expand, not kind of rely on 100% in terms of information. Because ChatGPT, like there's a called language models, it depends on all the information or else all the data available in the internet. So as you know, like for example, if I search on internet saying I have a headache, they might say, I have cancer, right? So not all the content on the internet is accurate. So that's what ChatGPT and tools like Bard from Google are used. So we cannot rely on this data 100%. It's a matter of having a base knowledge on a certain topic and trying to expand from that point onwards using these tools. So that is why I think one of the main reasons why the AI models won't be able to kind of replace us, because it's kind of dependent on all the data, not the most relevant and accurate data. Yeah. So I'll next go into how it can supercharge you. So what you call it, it cannot replace you, and it won't be able to act by itself. It's about how it can supercharge us and how we can utilize these tools to be able to supercharge. So the first point is it can help you learn faster. So what I mean is like this, like for an example, you are going to try to learn a new topic. Let's say, for example, since Oppenheimer is like kind of trending, let's say I want to learn about quantum physics or something like that, or else atomic bombing or something. So if I want to try a new kind of learn a new kind of a topic, the number one barrier that we have is where to start. What is the order to learn? If I start from what is the most simplest thing to learn, and then where to go from that point on. Because if you try to learn a new topic, the number one place that you always spend more time on is trying to figure out what to learn than before, like even before learning. And there are a lot of resources saying this and that. So it's not very straightforward for us to understand where to start. And especially when we are creating content, as Roshintha mentioned, for a new brand or as a new industry that we are working in. Because in marketing, we are always not into certain niche. We explore different industries. Our plans come from different scales, different industries. So we need to absorb and we need to understand those different industries to create the right relevant content for that. And for us to do this, we need to learn these industries. And one of the barriers, as I said, is what to learn. So we can use AI tools in order to give us a pathway or it's a roadmap of to learn. Like I can say, okay, hey, ChatGPT, I want to learn quantum physics as a beginner. What are the areas that I should learn, and give me that in a like sort of like ascending order. Where can I start and where can I kind of end? So it will give you a plan. Okay, these are like a couple of keywords that you can refer to in the industry, and these are a couple of topics that you can go one by one in order to learn that particular kind of a subject. So that is how number one way that AI can help you. And the second one is help you do mundane tasks like summarizing or rewriting content. Like as a content writer, in like of course content creating, whenever you have an idea, whenever you have a concept, you will start writing it. Or else if you're designing, you will start designing straight away. So once you write content, especially in content world, we will make sure that again we have to basically make sure that it is not too long, it's in the right way, and it has the right tone, and we have used the right words. We are talking in a more professional way, or else we have to talk in a more kind of a friendly way. Likewise, we have to always go back and do all these changes to the content that we write. And right now in this world of marketing, everything moves fast. The trends moves fast. Like if one sort of like a brand is adapting to a certain trend or a certain kind of a marketing tactic, they have a better reach than anyone else. So it's all about how fast we adapt to things. So if we are spending more time on this mundane tasks like rewriting, summarizing different kind of content, that's going to take more time on our day to something which is not, I would say, much productive. So since we have tools like this, it allows us to feed the content that we have written, or put the content that we write, and then give us kind of summarized versions of it, and it can be like rewrite in a different perspective. Like I can say, okay, rewrite this in a more friendly tone, in a more professional tone, and then it will give us content according to that. So I can give a whole blog, and I can say, please write this in a more professional tone, or else please write this in a more friendly tone, and it will actually change the content in the way that it speaks to that level of audience. So that is another thing, and of course, it saves a lot of time for like marketer, and it helps us identify the different patterns in data. So, like for an example, in this world of marketing and in this digital world, we deal with a lot of data points. So it can be different videos, it can be different blogs, it can be anything, different data that we work with. But as a human, if you're talking about thousands and thousands of data points, it's something which is very impractical, or is something which is very time consuming for a person to identify different patterns in this in order to create data driven decisions. So tools like AI will help you understand different patterns, understand different kind of links in the data sets that you are dealing with in order to create like very innovative content. So this is something which might not be able to understand, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show an example of how this has been used in a certain marketing execution. And the last point that I want to touch on is assisted design. So you might know about tools like Midjourney and other tools that are on the platform. So those kind of AI kind of in terms of like creating art, that has actually supercharged designers in order to create content faster. For example, we use this a lot in our agents mid-journey because, for an example, I'll take a brand like, let's say, a tea brand, because they want to do a kind of a campaign really soon, really fast, and they do not have the resources to kind of invest on a like a whole production kind of a photo shoot, video shoot, or whatnot. So, and we were stuck with, okay, we just have product images, we don't have any backgrounds to deal with. So what we did was using Midjourney and using these tools, we were able to like give some prompts. Okay, give me a background of a tea field looking from a building, or else give me a background of a tea field, like say in a hill. Likewise, I can give different prompts and take different kind of backgrounds from these tools and utilize this in our kind of content creation process, and that allows us to create content really fast. And then we don't have to rely on like going there physically taking pictures. I know that's kind of a better approach in terms of output, but using this way, we were able to fast track whatever content that we create. Because as I said again, marketing world moves fast. The person who adapts is the fastest wins, basically. So those are like some couple of I think points that I can highlight on why how it can supercharge. So now I'll get into a couple of executions. A couple of executions. So this is an execution done by Heineken Vietnam. So Heineken, so this is an agency called Leo Bernard which executed this. So before I get into this, so the context is Heineken released their new can in the Vietnam market. So they had a short kind of a like a can that they had previously, and they moved into a different kind of a can. And what they identified is, if you see this image as well, however you place the can in a certain perspective, you will always see only two letters from the word Heineken. So it will be E and so I and N or N and E or E and K. Like this, you will only see two. So they understood that kind of the pattern, and then they build a concept around it, and they utilize augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So I'll first of all show you that video and take it from there. Thank you.
Research says beer tastes better with music. So for the launch of the sleek Heineken can in Vietnam, we doubled down and created the biggest music collaboration in the brand's history. You might be thinking, wait, how many artists? That sounds expensive. Well, we found a way. Welcome to Heineken Juke. Unlike the traditional can, no matter what angle you look at the sleek can, only 2 letters of the brand name are visible. This led to 7 combinations of 2 letters, which can be found in over 583 renowned musician names around the world. So, in collaboration with Spotify, we developed a neat, immersive music experience. Using 3D AR technology in combination with a letter recognition algorithm, we converted our beer cans into personalized virtual jukeboxes. With every turn of the logo, people could unlock a different artist's name matching the 2 letters. And then seamlessly add them to their unique playlist on Spotify. From the hippest rap artist to oldie but goodie rock and roll bands, and everything in between. The possible combinations inside the Heineken Juke were endless, attracting all audiences above 18. DJs, music producers, and influencers shared their bangin' playlists, encouraging millions of their followers to create their own. The buzz about the campaign reached national headlines, generating unheard of levels of reach and engagement for the brand in just 2 months. In the end, hundreds of thousands of playlists were created and shared, striking the right note and proving that music tastes better with Heineken.
So this was an execution which is related to the third point that I was talking about before, which is like understanding patterns in data. So this is again showing that AI won't be able to do this by itself. It's just the human creative aspect that we used AI to enhance on. Like for example, there are 2 places which AI used in this. Number one was in the can, when they scan from the from the phone, they use it to like a technological OCR to actually capture the data. But they use, since it's not always going to be in a clear background, like you will drink a beer, like once you're meeting friends, it can be in a club. So they use AI to properly recognize these words. And the part that they especially used AI is to recognize who are the artists which has these two-letter combinations in their work. Like for an example, let's say you are about to do that. That will take around months or at least a couple of weeks for you to understand who are the 583 artists who are going to do that. So they simply use AI to understand. They give a data set. Okay, these two-letter combinations. Give me who are the kind of artists who rely, or as you have these two-letter combinations in their name. So this is again fast tracking, supercharging you as a human. And I was fortunate enough to meet the person who led the team to execute this particular concept. So from Leo at Vietnam. So that is so he talked about a lot of new ideas that they have with AI, and super exciting to see what's coming in. So I'll go to the kind of a next execution as well. Another execution. So this was launched for Diwali in India. And for example, what the concept that they want to do here is this. So this is a very effective brand placement. They did not sell Cadbury in this video. It's all about how small businesses don't have the advantage of hiring someone like Shah Rukh Khan in their promotional videos. They won't be ever be able to do that. But Cadbury, what they did is for Diwali, using AI, using Shah Rukh Khan as kind of like the character, they gave a platform where any brand can customize a video for them. Like for an example, Shah Rukh Khan will tell something in this video. They shot it once, and using AI, I can actually enter my shop name and what I do and what you can buy in our shop through this website portal. And it will actually generate a video for me, just like Shah Rukh Khan is saying this set of words. So this is something very interesting. I'll show you the video and then that will give you more perspective on it.
Big brands have big money to hire famous people, but not the small guys. And they are the ones who are still hurting. Presenting Shah Rukh Khan, my ad.
Welcome, Shah Rukh Khan. He almost certainly has more devoted fans than any other movie star in the world.
Biggest movie star in the world.
Forbes have called him one of the biggest movie stars in the world.
We helped small businesses by making Shah Rukh Khan, the world's biggest movie star, their brand ambassador.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाले फैशन और एम्पोरियम से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना। सिद्धि विनायक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से लेटेस्ट स्मार्टफोन खरीदकर धमाकेदार सेल्फी पोस्ट करना।
क्या कर रहे हो? मीठा लाए कि नहीं?
We used machine learning to recreate Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice to take the local store names in the ads.
आप भी ना अपने पास वाले चॉइस ऑफ फैशन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना। रॉयल फैशन से ही, एनके क्लॉथ से ही, पास वाली लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग।
Different versions of the same ad with local store names were targeted as per the PIN code of the viewer, showing them only the nearby stores. But it is impossible to cover all the stores. So we gave the power to the people to create their own version of Shah Rukh Khan, my ad. Any small business owner could promote their stores through their own social media networks like WhatsApp forwards and other social media pages.
It is Shah Rukh Khan selling your store, man. If you're a small-time retailer or a merchant, what an amazing thing to have.
Cadbury ad is an ad campaign that has gone viral.
A new ad which stars Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan is winning hearts all over social media.
And what we're learning is that over 1 lakh local stores have already created.
Yeah, I'll stop it from there. So as you can see, like if we to do this in a production setup, and they might have to, like Shah Rukh Khan might have to do like hundreds of thousands of videos, but no, just one video utilizing AI, they can actually change how we talk, like how our mouth change, and in order to show like we are speaking something else, and we can mimic the voice as well to actually say whatever the text that we include. And this can go into another extent. Like for an example, in India, this is another example in India, which I actually met the person who did this as well. So India has, I don't know, close to hundreds of different languages that they speak in different, cities, different, areas. And as you know, localized content feels better. Like for an example, if you see a Sinhala advertisement rather than English advertisement, you can relate with it. You understand it better. So what this company does is they actually allow you to record one video and create different kinds of video through an AI kind of algorithm tool. And I can just type in anything in different languages. And the output will be me from my voice. It mimics like I would say that kind of in a different language, and my mouth movement will be in likewise I'm talking that. So that is kind of like a cool execution like you can use in terms of marketing as well. So I'll yeah. So that is kind of pretty much it in terms of how AI can supercharge you and some creative like cool ideas that AI can bring into the table. So next up, I think Rosh will take you to some other practical tips.
Right. I'm just gonna bring the chair actually because I'm gonna show you something, like you said, practical. Right. So
take this to yourself.
Yes. So this one.
Yeah.
So essentially, like I said before, one of the topics is how can we use these different tips and tricks in ChatGPT for content creation. All right. Again, like Newan said, you can use ChatGPT to superpower you. All right. Don't use it as a tool that will only give you everything. You can't expect ChatGPT to give you everything you want. Like Newan said, it can only you feed it information. It can only give you the best ways to do things, or the fastest ways to do things. It'll teach you, and it'll you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
It'll teach you, and it'll kind of
yeah.
It'll teach you, and it'll kind of fast track your way through everything. Content creation, learning, if you want to learn something, making travel itineraries, not related to content, but still. All right, so moving on. Yeah, all right. Okay, so you can see that. So I've come up with 8 main prompts, very easy prompts. I'm just going to show you how we can use them in a practical concept. All right. So first one is to speed up learning. So let's see how we can speed up learning under a certain topic. I'm just going to take the topic of quantum physics, because obviously everything with Barbie and Oppenheimer in the past few days, past few weeks, it's a trending topic. So I thought I might as well, take that because it's pretty fun, it's interesting, and it has a lot that you can it's a very deep topic. So let's see how that works. All right. So hey ChatGPT, I'm trying to learn quantum physics. Can you help me accelerate my learning process? Please provide me with concise explanations, relevant examples, and key takeaways. So just again, remember that this is to provide you with a base of knowledge for this certain topic. All right. So let's enter it and see what it gives us. All right. So here, like I said, it'll give you an outline of what this topic is. You're not a quantum physicist, so you don't need to know everything about quantum physics. You just want to learn about what it is, because you need to learn about the key points about what it is, just because it'll make whatever you're doing easier for you to understand. So like Newan said before, it helps you become kind of a superhuman. It helps you learn fast. It helps you, it just supercharges you, right? You don't solely depend on AI, but you depend on it to make you a better person, make you a faster person. All right. So let's move on to the next prompt. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next prompt is basically to get information in any format. So now for information that we got about quantum physics, we can ask them to give it to us in different kinds of formats. So let's see what ChatGPT gives us. I'm just giving you like a general example. You can obviously go into more depth with this. You can give them you can give ChatGPT points saying, like, okay, I'll just do it here and show you. Give it to me in the format of H1, H2, text, and subtext. All right. So again, let's talk about quantum physics because that's what I thought I should keep the theme about for this. So here we go. So as you can see, there's one H1, which is the main title of the topic. And then you get the H2s, the introduction, the key concepts, and the points under that, which leads me to my next topic. Sorry, not my next topic, it's in the next slide, but let me just finish up with multilingual content and then move on to that. So as you can see here, I gave ChatGPT 2 prompts. I wanted to learn about quantum physics. Whatever I learned from quantum physics, I wanted ChatGPT to put it into a certain format for me. All right. So next, I'm interested in turning that, what they taught me already, into, say, let's take French. All right. Hi, I'm interested in learning about, now since you already spoke about that topic, you can say the above subject. Like you don't always have to repeat the same information you gave it. Sorry. And I'm comfortable with multiple languages, including French. All right. So let's see what it gives me. And then we can expand this prompt further, saying that give me the above explanation in French. And we can even ask it to further detail it. And let's see what it gives us. So it gives you everything in French, all right? And it's very much accurate. You can turn this into any language, most of the languages that ChatGPT is compatible with. You can take a look at the other languages that ChatGPT is compatible with later on. But essentially, you can create multilingual content on this. Like Newan said, localized content is really, really important. There are countries like India with hundreds of languages just in one country, right? So then you can take America, you would get Spanish, a lot of Latin American people speaking Spanish and English, and then again, a lot of Indians speaking Hindi. So content localization is really, really important. And you can use ChatGPT to make that process easier as well for you. All right, so then let's take on the next topic, which is persona research. So here I'm just gonna talk about a character that we already know, which is again relating to the topic of quantum physics. I'm gonna talk about Oppenheimer. All right. So Robert Oppenheimer, you must know, he was the father of the atomic bomb. The father of the atomic bomb. All right. Can you help me understand how he would respond in certain situations, or what their thoughts would be in various scenarios relating? We can even specify the situation, right? Relating to the making of the atomic bomb in Los Alamos. So if y'all are not familiar with it, Los Alamos is where the atomic bomb was created in the US. All right. So I went into a bit of detail here. I said I'm working on creating a character for a project. The character's name is Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. Can you help me understand how he would respond in certain situations, or what their thoughts might be? Or what the thoughts might be in various scenarios relating to the making of the atomic bomb in Los Alamos. So I went into detail about where he made it as well. Even though ChatGPT obviously knows about him, because like I said, he is a character from the past, all right? I will get into what you can do with this kind of prompt later on, but let me just enter it for now. So it gives me his full name because like I said, he's from the past, right? So ChatGPT will know who he is. All right. So this brings up a real life situation about the whole Manhattan Project and how the atomic bomb came into actually being the atomic bomb. But essentially what I was trying to tell you with this kind of a prompt is that you can use this, someone is, okay. So you can use this prompt for persona research to really look up or come up with any kind of persona for your brand. Say, you have a makeup brand in Australia and you want to know, say you have a personalized makeup brand in Australia, right? And you make personalized makeup brushes. And you want to know who you can target, like obviously every brand has a few personas that they look to target. So you can tell ChatGPT this is the information of my brand. These are the kinds of products I create, or these are the kinds of services that I have. Can you come up with 3 typical personas for my brand? And then take that information that ChatGPT gives you and use it to supercharge you, like I said before, like Newan said before. Use that information to kind of, detail it further on and take it on as your own project. All right, going on to the next slide, moving on to the next slide. I said here when I was talking about getting information in any format, how that is related to another topic, which is now coming to that, which is writing a blog post. So as you can see here, this part that I actually so here, this part where I gave ChatGPT a prompt saying, hey, I need some information on quantum physics. And then I gave ChatGPT the format of presenting to me. So it came up with this outline, right? It's an outline. So just like that, I need help brainstorming my ideas for a blog. My niche is, let's take a different niche for this next slide. Let's take the niche of real estate. And we can even further detail it to real estate in the state of California with with the use of ADUs. So I'm just gonna go a bit in depth with this. It's someone else trying to join. Right? No. Right. So ADUs are essentially assisted dwelling units. You don't have to worry about that. It's just a part of construction in the state of, like, in all Western countries. ADUs basically are, if you have a bare land or if you have a land with a house in it, you can create another unit, which is called a assisted dwelling unit. So I'm just giving you that as context for this. All right. So my niche is real estate in the state of California with the use of ADUs. And I'm looking for unique and captivating topics to engage my audience. Can you suggest some interesting blog topic ideas? So let's go. All right. So it comes up with these really, really cool blog topic ideas, right? And what you can do from now onwards, get the ideas from ChatGPT, use it to fast forward your process, use it to supercharge your ideas. Take these topics and do your own research. So obviously, when you're writing blogs, it has to be SEO optimized, and then you need to look at the technical side of things as well. So this would usually take a lot of time for me or anyone because research takes a lot of time. Like Newan and I both said earlier, research takes a lot of time, but AI makes it fast for us. This is a classic example as to how, before AI, I would have to go look at these keywords, research, look at the best blogs. We still need to do that, but now it's niche down, it's funneled down into this set of topics that I can look at, and I can just research on these topics, right? So what you can do now is, for example, you can copy paste these into keyword research tools, and then look at topics from there, and then look at your competitor articles, and then write your blog on that. All right. So now it gave you this gave you how many topics? It gave you 10 topics. All right. Let's take the 10th topic here and tell ChatGPT to write as an outline. So one thing I have to tell you is don't use ChatGPT to basically do all the work for you, because sometimes the information can be incorrect. Sometimes the information can be very less emotionless, and there are advantages for it to being emotionless and unopinionated and unbiased, but at the same time you need that human touch as well. That's why I said let's take a look at an outline instead of a full blog. All right. write me an outline based on the above topic. Very simple format, very simple. Yeah. So it'll give me the outline, right? It'll give me the first part, which is the H2 introduction. Then the second subheading, which is understanding ADUs. It'll give me the points under that as well. So what you can do is now take these points and expand it on your own, write it on your own, look at competitor articles and write this content on your own. All right. So see, it gives me everything. It gave me, it gave me 10, gave me until the conclusion. Take information from this. You can even ask them to make it further detailed or make the above further detailed and longer. And it'll do that for you as well. So let's see how it does that. See, it does that as well. All right. So it's very interesting because, again, with these things itself, you get to learn a lot about like any topic in the world. You give it any topic in the world, it'll help you. All right. So moving on to the next topic, creating a social media campaign. It's a very straightforward thing. I want to create a compelling social media campaign for my brand. Can you provide me with creative and attention-grabbing content ideas, catchy slogans, and engaging hashtags that resonate with my audience? I'm going to give you a classic example of a brand, which is Coca-Cola. It's just the easiest to understand right now, right? This is not a very in-depth prompt, but again, this is the base, and you can obviously expand on this in your prompt, all right? So you can obviously expand on this in your prompt and give it the exact details you want it to generate for you, and it'll generate that for you. So, right. So also, you don't have to worry about, writing these down right now because we'll be sharing the presentation with you all later on. All right. So, all right, cool. For Coca-Cola. If you have anything, obviously write it down, but like you can have this presentation after that as well. Yeah. So see, it basically generated some content ideas and some catchy slogans and some engaging hashtags. So if you want, we can even ask them to do this in, can you give this to me in table format? It's crazy, right? Like, who would think maybe 1 year ago, we had to, it reduces the amount of work we have to do. Copy paste this into a Word doc and it'll be a table, right? So yeah, pretty cool. All right, so moving on to the next topic, writing video scripts. All right, let's write a video script. I'm working on a video script for a product demo for, let's take Vanilla Coke, since we're anyway on the topic of Coke. Can you help me craft a persuasive and informative script that showcases features and benefits of the product in a captivating way? Obviously, you would wonder what are these features and benefits of this Vanilla Coke? There's nothing much other than a lot of sugar, but I mean, you have to market it, right? So let's take a look at how we can do that. Sometimes whatever it generates for you may not be, in the tone and feel, maybe a bit cringe sometimes. It can be like, okay, what is this, right? But you can always ask ChatGPT, tell them your opinion about what they gave you. Like, I don't think this is right. This is not what I want. This is what I want. Can you regenerate this for me in this way? And you can do that as well. So as you can see, it generated an entire script for me. Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, scene 6. Again, take this information, expand it on your own.
It gives you like a visual as well, like what to shoot.
Exactly. Yeah. So even for a videographer, this will be important because a videographer will always have a shot list before shoot, right? So a videographer can come up and be like, this is the video I'm going to shoot. Can you give me some ideas as to how I can shoot this? How are the visuals going to look like? And it's going to give that to you as well. All right. So then writing lead magnets. So lead magnets are basically, you can get prospective clients and customers of websites through downloadable things like PDFs, ebooks and things like that. You all know what lead magnets are, I'm sure. So lead magnets are very important in SEO. They're important in internal linking, and so many. Having lead magnets on a website improves your SEO score a lot. So if you're writing content, if you're a content writer, or if you're a digital marketer, you'd know that you probably come across lead magnets at least once or twice in your career in the beginning. All right, so let's take a look at how we can write a lead magnet. All right, so I want to write an informative white paper on real estate, again, in the state of California, surrounding the topic of ADUs. Can you assist me in researching the latest trends, statistics, and expert insights to create a well-structured and authoritative white paper? Let's see what it gives us. It's giving us the outline again, and then we can. So earlier I said that you always take the outline and you write it on your own. You can also get them to write that for you, right? So take the above outline and write an ebook, write a short ebook for me. So it's writing it based on the outline that it provided you, based on the subtopics and the topics that it provided you. It's writing you an ebook. So like I said a short ebook. So it generated a short ebook for me. And this can be placed on a website anywhere as a lead magnet, get information of the prospective clients, and then they can download this. So I think I went a bit over my time, sorry about that. But yeah, essentially that is, those are a few tips and tricks that you can use in ChatGPT. There's more. I suggest that you always try everything with ChatGPT and see what it can generate you, because I don't think there's as of now there are certain limitations, but it doesn't hurt to try, any kind of prompt. So yeah, moving on to the next topic. Since I showed you the prompts, Newan is going to show you some awesome AI tools that you may have not heard of. So, all right.
So one interesting fact about these tools, right? So these are called LLMs, large language models, ChatGPT, Google Bard. They are less than 2,000 lines of code. So Uber is more lines of code than just ChatGPT. So you can imagine like what AI can do actually. Okay, so if you have noticed the images that I have used in the presentation, that is also generated by AI. So again, with different prompts, like this is a prompt saying, what if Elon Musk is a robot, right? Likewise. So I'll get into a couple of tools that you may have not heard of, because AI, everyone knows about ChatGPT, Midjourney, but there are hundreds of new tools coming out, not every month, every week in the AI space. So to keep it short, we have just only around 4 tools that you can use. The number one tool is called PDF.ai. So what PDF.ai allows us to do is upload any PDF to, or else connect it with any PDF on the internet to the browser plugin that they offer, and actually chat with that PDF. So I'll give an example as a marketer, right? If you in the marketing space, Google advertisements, Google ads and Meta, they update the ad policies like kind of every week, right? So they bring in new policies, like, new data policies and whatnot. To be updated on that is a huge challenge. Let's say I was able to get a PDF format of this kind of privacy policy, or, terms and conditions, which can be around 100 to 200 pages long. I can't be going through all of that to learn everything, right? So what I can do is I can connect it to PDF.ai. And what I can do is I can ask like questions, just like we did with ChatGPT. Okay, hey, can I know what are the topics that I can't run advertisements on Meta? So it will give me, okay, yeah, based on this terms and conditions document by Meta, they outline that these topics are not allowed to run as advertisements. That one example. And it goes into the technical parts such as finance as well. Like for an example, I would say, I include a financial report of a certain public company. So this is very ideal for kind of traders, like, people who deal with stock exchange and whatnot. I can ask, okay, even a CEO who doesn't understand a lot of financial stuff, maybe let's say, I can just put in this document and say, okay, how was our revenue growth compared to last year, this year? What is the percentage? And I can also ask, like, what are the things that we can do in order to reduce our OPEX, like operational cost, based on this financial report? It will actually use external data and the data that we have added in order to give us ideas. Okay, we have seen that you have spent this much on, recreation, or like, whatever, you can tend to, you can, look at reducing these in these ways. So likewise, against a PDF, I can chat. So this is a really cool tool that even we use, and something that we can recommend as well. And it goes into legal documents as well. Like if you are signing an agreement, before that, you can ask what are the things that I need to be concerned of, what is the validity period of this. Like I can just ask questions and get to know it. The second one is called Opus Pro. So this is about repurposing content. In this marketing world, as I said, the more faster you move, and more content that you create, I think that's the unfair advantage that we have to create in this world. So when you take one piece of content, we can actually create multiple pieces of content around it. Like for an example, let's say I shoot a podcast, like a video and an audio format of a podcast. I repurpose that content. I can take short clips of that content, post it on YouTube Reels, TikTok and Instagram, sorry, YouTube Shorts, TikTok and YouTube, Instagram Reels. And I can write a blog based on that particular podcast that I talked about. And I can take certain snippets that we talked about in this podcast and post them as tweets. So this one video, one podcast, we repurpose that into multiple set of content. And that is time consuming because we need to go through the whole video in order to understand that, right? So this Opus Pro allows us to just add one video file, or else even paste a YouTube link and actually generate different pieces of content from that. It's primarily right now focused on Reels and like vertical videos. It will actually edit the video, add transcripts, add different transitions, and give me different multiple kind of short form videos from this podcast, which I can repurpose on different platforms. So that is something very cool as well. And the third tool is called Hagen. So as I said, the production cost is something which not many businesses can afford. Like they cannot hire big production companies or different videos. They cannot sometimes hire someone to like speak for their brand and everything. So what this allows us to do, they have a pool of kind of avatars that they have on the platform. I can select an avatar which almost looks like a human, and I can type in a certain thing, and then they would speak that in a certain language that match their character. They have a free option as well, but to kind of expand on top of it, we might need to go for the paid option. I don't think it's a huge amount of money. But yeah, so Hagen is one of the tools that I think kind of like people might use in different formats. Like for an example, product explanations. Like for an example, I'm selling a certain product. I want to do a video advertisement on that. I can not just shoot it, just put the product image and put this avatar and let it talk about it. And it can be employee onboarding as well. Like for an example, rather than doing the employee onboarding all over again every time, I can have a PDF with this person, not a PDF, like a slide with like it can be on Canva itself, like this person speak. So they can actually take through kind of what are the things that we're talking about, rather than them getting to read. Like they can just interact with the video just like with a human without any kind of production or what. So the last one is called Ras.ai. So it's about video localization. This is another example of what I showed before about the Shah Rukh Khan's video. So Ras.ai allows us to create 60 videos from just one video. So 60 different languages it supports. So what happens is, like for an example, I showed a video in English, I upload to this platform, and it will give me 60 different videos in 60 different languages. It not only will sound like me, it will also mimic how my mouth kind of moves in order to give that perception of, okay, I'm speaking that language, which is something very cool. It from that one video, it understands like how we talk, our tone, how we sound, and we convert, okay, how I would sound in Japanese, how my mouth will move in Japanese, and it will look like 60 different videos. So no person in the world can speak 60 different languages. We might need to use 60 or 50 different people to do that. and 50 different videos if you are doing in production. But this time it's only one clear, like kind of a video, upload it, and we can generate multiple pieces of content around it. This is, I think, we have a free kind of an option for this as well. But yeah, this is kind of a very cool tool. So this kind of gives a perspective that this is not limited to ChatGPT or Bard or whatever. AI is massive. It's not only just large language models, LLMs. It's very massive. So I think that brings an end to our conversation in terms of how AI enhanced marketing is playing a role in this current world. This is just the very beginning. It's the infant stages. In the infant stage, it can do these kind of applications. We can imagine how it will be in the next couple of years. So if you want to access our presentation, this QR code will bring you to that. And if you want to contact us for anything and ask any questions, we have attached those as well, so that you can contact us from there. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming and attending this. You can download the presentation from this QR. You can scan this QR code and download it. And like Newan said, it's just the beginning of AI. And I suggest that take advantage of it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to use it, and use it. Yeah, use it to your advantage, and make everything faster, make everything easier for you. It's not about always working hard. It's about working smart as well. So AI lets you do exactly that. And we're both fans of AI. We use it on a daily basis. So yeah, thank you.
If you have any questions, we're happy to answer. You don't have to limit it to maybe AI. We are in the agency space. If you have any questions around that, I'm happy to answer.
Agency space, about clients, anything. Even anything about AI. What else can you do with AI? If you have any questions, you can do it.
Text effects.
Sorry?
Text effects.
Text effects.
All the especially the musicians and actors, right? It's a really good thing.
What it allows us to do?
Words and find.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
Like poems and
You can work with it.
Okay.
Just the whole song. You work with it and you also
So it's an AI tool, right?
It's a text effects, right?
It's called text effects.
Oh, right. It's interesting. Thank you for sharing.
So yeah, I mean, we use ChatGPT for like basically a lot of things. Everything.
But again, we don't depend on it.
Again, we don't depend on it. Like again, like I mentioned earlier, want to plan trips. ChatGPT is the way to go. So,
but like writing blogs, it gives us the outline, but to give that tone, feel.
Yeah, to give that tone and feel, like as humans, there's something that we can give that robots can never give. So, when people say that you're going to lose your job, like lawyers are going to be replaced with AI, or copywriters are going to be replaced with AI. That's just simply, it's not true. It can't be true because a robot can't feel what a person feels and understand.
If you want 2 copywriters now, we can just hire one and do the job. That's kind of the thing. It doesn't mean that other person loses the job. They can actually
find a job somewhere else. So obviously.
So I think they were saying you might have to also, it's not the AI that's going to replace you, but a person who is familiar and strengthened with AI will replace you. So well, then, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please ask.
More questions,
We'll be hanging around for a while. So thank you so much for joining in person as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's right for the other end of this because recently I discussed with the Japanese and the German guys that they are not much happy with their localization with the ChatGPT.
Yeah. It's basically like Google Translation only. So what it allows us to again do is
gives you the idea and basically
like the outline. You can do it on top of it.
It's always better to still, since it's like the infant stages of AI, and even though it's so advanced, if it gives you a translation, it's always better to get in touch with someone who knows that language. And that's what we always do. Like if we work with a German client, and if they want us to translate one of the white papers into German, we can translate it, give them this outline, and then we like, can you comment on this? Like anything that's wrong, you can tell it to us and we can correct it from our end. Or usually if you work in the agency space, we work a lot with internal teams on the client's end as well. It's not always just, how do you say, it's not always the client working with us. They usually have an internal team. So especially if it's like I have experienced this person in the past working with a German client. That's why I specifically mentioned Germany. You translate a white paper or blog, give it to them, and their internal team will look at any small changes that need to be changed in the middle. But you've done most of the work, so that's what's important.
Yes, again, the point that I mentioned, you need to have a base knowledge of many of the subjects that you're dealing with before approaching. Yeah. Any other inputs, questions?
Like Roshintha said, that ChatGPT considers like on the one of them is up to date. That person has to bench with this within this week or so. So my question is like what type of tools that we can leverage to get to know like trends and whatever hashtag that can be used. So yeah, depends on the industry as well. So if we are managing multiple accounts, we have to like keep in touch with every single industry. So is there any tools that you're using?
ChatGPT has its own browser plugin as well.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, ChatGPT has its own browser plugin as well that allows us to analyze something on a certain website and the web as well. But the more relevant tool I would say is Bard by Google, because it's connected to the internet real time and it fetches information from the internet. But I wouldn't recommend Bard a lot because it's highly dependent on the information on the World Wide Web, like www.
So it's very biased.
It's very biased and it's not accurate at all. So it pulls different content from different information like data points, and it's up to date but not accurate. Like I said, I will say I have a headache. It might say I have cancer. That's how it is. Yeah.
So what it does is like he said, it pulls data. It crawls the entire World Wide Web on that particular keyword. It's just like SEO, how SEO works, right? It crawls it on that particular keyword and will give you information based on like the top 20 best performing SEO articles on that keyword. So like you said, like you can search for a headache and it can say you have cancer.
Yeah, the next stage of AI, like the way it is going ahead, is how they can provide more accurate information. So for that, people need to understand what are the accurate data points to look at, what are the that's the next challenge actually for brands. And the other point is intellectual property. So this is connected to the internet, right? So for an example, let's say I'm going to write about a very niche topic, like for an example, a bomb that went off in Israel or something like that. Let's say only CNN has written about that article, right? And it fetches information from that. That's intellectual property of CNN, right? And if I'm using ChatGPT's paid version, and then only ChatGPT is kind of getting the reward or else the paid out of it, but they are fetching basically the information that CNN has written. There's a huge kind of now these days kind of a heated up argument going on. Okay, brands are like, okay, these are my content and you are profiting out of it. And nowadays what scientists like data scientists are trying to